I have a multi-7-figure business. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I am a wife. I have lots of friends. I work out every day. I get ready every day. I read every day. I journal every day. I do my quiet time every single day. I get 8 hours of sleep. I feel like I'm pretty well kept. I get my hair done. I get facials. I get my nails done. I have a team that I lead. I have calls every single week and coaching and clients. And I'm not telling all of this to you to impress you. I'm telling this to you to impress upon you what is possible for you when you have a system where you can plan your work and work your plan. You can literally create any result that you want. People criminally underestimate what they're capable of. They walk around as wandering generalities versus really having this meaningful, specific spirit about them. Today, what I want to share with you is this system that I've been developing and tweaking and evolving over the last 8 years of being an entrepreneur and also being a mom of very young kids. And today, I want to share this exact system with you. And this video alone could genuinely change your life. Like, you might end up describing yourself as the you before you watch this video and the you after you watch this video. I'm going to teach you exactly why it is so challenging for us to plan goals and actually pursue the goals. I'm going to teach you this system and I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to sit here and plan my week alongside with you and show you exactly how it's done so you can do it too. My name is Macy McNeely and I'm one of the sales girls. We create world-class sales girls. What does that mean? That means we take women who have a mission and turn them into a woman that is on a mission, because they can now communicate their mission. And the byproduct of this is having outrageous financial success because they are now able to persuade for good. So if you're a woman who has an offer that you sell, or maybe you desire to get in sales, or maybe you are in a sales job right now and you want to up those skills, just check out the resources in the description below. We have quite a few things. We have a challenge, we have a book that could really serve you. Are you ready for this video? This is about to change your life and I am so fired up to share it with you. So before we get started, I want to tell you just a little bit about what's going in that sweet little noggin of yours and why it can be so challenging to be that version of yourself that really wants to implement all the things you have in your mind, but it can be very, very hard to do so. So there's lots of different parts of your brain, but today I just want to talk about 2 parts. There is the prefrontal cortex, there's the primitive brain. Now, the prefrontal cortex, I want you to think about this part of your brain as the adult in charge. Okay, the adult walks into the room, it's the parent. It's the one that plans out the whole day. It's the one that makes sure everybody is following the rules and everyone is being so incredibly safe. It's the one that makes sure that the kids are not eating goldfish all day, but they are eating food that fuels their body so that they feel so good all day long. It's the parent that makes sure the kids are getting rest and that they're napping so well. So there's the prefrontal, and now there's the primitive part of the brain, which is like the toddler. This is the part of your brain that doesn't really think things all the way through. It just reacts very quickly. This brain feels emotions heavily, right? It gets very excited, feels a lot of desire or a lot of fear. This is the brain that actually literally pitches a temper tantrum when it does not get its way. And so you have these kind of 2 parts of your brain working back and forth, where it's like it wants to be responsible, but then it starts to smell the cookies and say, never mind the responsible things, let's just eat the cookies. And it wants to, do the hard things, but oh, that bed looks so warm and so cozy, let me just slip in and get a quick little nap. And it's just this constant kind of dynamic that goes back and forth. Our brains are wired to do 3 things, and God wired it so beautifully, especially for the cave days, because we were created to avoid pain, experience pleasure, and to conserve energy. This was so critical for our survival because we had to sense danger so that we could avoid the danger. Like, we needed to be able to know that a lion could be coming so that we could run away. We had to conserve energy because who knows when our next meal was going to be, and experience pleasure so that we wanted to eat and we wanted to find warmth and we wanted to procreate. And this brain has stayed the same, but our society has evolved. And the evolvement of society means that we are actually experiencing too much comfort, too much ease, too much pleasure. And we have to so intentionally go against our natural wiring so that we can experience the life that we want. And like pleasure right now, it's times 10 than what it used to be. Like an Oreo pleasure is times 10 than what a fresh berry was, back in the cave days, or social media times 100 from just having a little interaction with another human back in the cave days. And so we really have to parent our brain, our primitive brain, so much more intentionally than ever before. So with this planning system, you're basically going to be intentionally activating that prefrontal cortex, the parent part of your brain, so that it can intentionally parent this primitive part of the brain. So let's get started with the system. So after 8 years of building a business and also starting a family, what I found is that your work isn't really about how much time you give it. It's really about the intensity of your work within the time that you are working. I'm really passionate about, when I'm at work, I'm going to work. But when I'm not working, I'm going to be as present as I possibly can with my children. I've been studying people like Charles Duhigg and James Clear. Brooke Castillo has taught me so much in this area. And it really actually all started when I first learned about the Eisenhower quadrant. And Eisenhower basically said, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. So how can you set up your life where you're not living in the urgent all the time, but you're living in those important categories? So let me show you the quadrant. It looks a little bit like this. There's the do, the delegate, the plan, and the eliminate. So let's start with this do quadrant. This is the urgent and important. This is down to the wire stuff, okay? We have a deadline, something is due, and so nothing else matters but this specific thing right here. This is like someone's in the hospital, a baby is coming, fight or flight, everyone must focus on this. Now, my mission is to not be in the do quadrant as much as possible. Of course, life circumstances will come up, and that's another story for another day, but essentially, my mission is to stay out of that fight or flight so that I can be in a relaxed state as much as possible so I can be creative. The next quadrant is this delegate quadrant. These are the things that are urgent but not important. So they demand attention immediately, but they're not important enough for you to do them. So like your lawn needs attention immediately. If you don't take care of it, it will become overgrown, but it's just not quite important enough for you to be doing it. Things like, getting your car washed, or things in your house, if you can delegate that, that is ideal. When it comes to work stuff, the way I like to think about it is if someone can do it about 80% of my standard, then that's 100% good enough for me. And I also just want you to entertain the idea that there are people that are actually much better than you, and that what you're, best, they can do, 110% to your 90%. I think a lot of people, and I notice a lot of people struggle with delegating. I personally don't really feel like I have that problem. But I think people overestimate how good they are, and they underestimate how good other people are. You can either delegate a process to someone, like, hey, I've already figured out this process. This is exactly how I want you to do it. But you can also delegate a result and say, hey, by the end of this week, this is the result that I want. And you can do it in whatever process you want. And I bet you'll find that other people come up with better processes than you could have come up with. Next is this eliminate quadrant. This is the not urgent and not important. Let me tell you, there ain't no task that gets done faster than no task. Don't be afraid to eliminate projects or just put them to the side for next year or 2 years from now. Also, things in this category are kind of like the mindless stuff, right? The TV shows, the mindless scrolling, just the things that are not really fueling your life. Now, I don't want to take that away from you, so please, don't be scared. What I want to show you is actually how you can plan those things in your life so you can just do them consciously instead of slipping into the subconscious state, which brings me to that next quadrant, which is the plan quadrant. This is the not urgent but important quadrant. Listen, This is where we live, fam. This is home sweet home. This is home base. This is it. My personal mission when I sit down and plan my week every week is like, how can I live in this plan quadrant so that I can be, relaxed and think as creatively and as big as possible, knowing that I'm working on things that aren't urgent, but are very, very important. These are things that don't really require immediate attention, but they absolutely affect your future greatly. These tasks right here, they pull you into the future, because if you don't do these things tomorrow, it's not a huge deal. But if you don't do these things over the next 30 years, it absolutely will be a huge deal. Oftentimes you'll find the things that are in this quadrant are things that you've been avoiding. Most times, things you've been avoiding. Things that should go in here also are like your non-negotiables, like exercise, right? It's not going to hurt you tomorrow if you don't work out, but for 30 years, if you don't work out, it absolutely is gonna mess with you. So think about some non-negotiables. We have something called a sales girl standard, which is our group of 5 non-negotiable things. I'll create another video on that, but go ahead and just start thinking, okay, what are some non-negotiables that I think could go in this plan quadrant? Another amazing thing that should go into this plan quadrant is any kind of personal development or professional training. If you're anything like me, you love a course. I love learning from other people's experiences and their brains and their results. But I think a lot of people have something called a course graveyard, where they buy it and they never look at it again. For me, in my life, a course, an old pre-recorded course that was recorded, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, has changed my life more than just about anything else. Our old pre-recorded courses. And it's not because, the course has changed or that I'm any better. It's simply because I put it in my plan quadrant. I planned to consume the material, and that material has genuinely changed me forever and ever. So if you're someone that buys courses and you feel frustrated because you haven't implemented, this system is going to change the game for you. All right, let's break down the system. It's actually just 3 very easy steps. Step 1 is to do something called a brain dump. Now, if you've ever been driving somewhere, or maybe you've been working out, and all of a sudden, all of these thoughts kind of start popping in your mind. Maybe it's, oh, I didn't get back to that person, or, oh, my dry cleaning, or, oh, I have this idea, and, oh, I don't think I finished that. And it's almost like a flashing red light in your mind that's causing you to be distracted and feel like you need to take action on that right away. Anytime that starts happening to you, I want this to be, think about this video and think, ooh, I need to go do a brain dump. And what I would encourage you to do is to do a 10-minute brain dump. So you're gonna set a timer on your phone and sit there and just write everything that's in your mind. It could be pick up eggs, all the way to, decide if I want to sell my business this year. Whatever is popping up for you, get it on paper. You could do this with things that are already on your mind, or you could also do this with goals you want to achieve. So, for example, let's say you would like to lose 50 pounds. Sit there for 10 minutes and think, okay, if I had to know how to do this, what would be the steps? And just for 10 minutes, write down what you think the steps are to losing 50 pounds, or to having a perfectly organized home, or to making, $10,000 this month. And what is likely going to happen is you're going to start, 4 minutes are going to go by, and you're going to think, I'm done. No, you're not done. I want you to sit there for the full 10 minutes and think to yourself. You're going to have your pen and you're going to think, what else? What else? What else? What else? You will be amazed at what starts coming out of your mind. Think about you just wringing out all the water of this washcloth and getting all the things that are just in your mind. We want to wipe it completely clean. Once you're done with that 10-minute brain dump, I want you to check any other thing that you need to check. So for me, that's like Asana, Slack, anything that my team might need from me. I have all kinds of notes on my phone, which I'm sure you do too, and also my journal. I'll write kind of ideas in there. And so I'm just kind of compiling all the things over the last week that I might be missing. Step 2 is to grab a calendar and to start scheduling your week based on your brain dump list. Now, I like to use a Google Calendar, especially because I love to share my calendar so that my team can know kind of what I'm working on. I want you to make it a goal to have no white space on your calendar. Like every second is accounted for, not necessarily accounted for, being uber productive. Account for the times you'd love to just mindlessly scroll or watch TV or go on walks or whatever you want to do. Just plan for it. Remember, this is you being the parent for yourself. What you don't want to do is slip into that toddler brain where you're just kind of reactively doing stuff. I want you to scroll, like I scroll too, but just do everything you can to pre-plan all of that playtime, so to speak, so that you can know you're doing it consciously. So what are you scheduling? Number 1, schedule your non-negotiables. So for me, that's like working out, getting ready, reading quiet time, picking up my kids is a non-negotiable. Just go ahead and get all of those things on the calendar. Next, I want you to schedule your rest time. Like schedule when you want to go to sleep and when you want to wake up. And do you want to take naps? Do you want to watch TV? Do you want to go to the movies? All of that playtime, like shopping or going to lunch with friends. Put it on your calendar first, and then you'll be able to see all of this white space you have available to absolutely maximize. My favorite way to maximize my time is to look for 2-hour time blocks throughout the week. My goal is 1 2-hour time block every single day of intense focus time. If I can get 2-hour time blocks, that's amazing, but typically that doesn't always happen. If you can really intensely focus for 2 hours a day, you can do some serious damage with your productivity and chip away and lay those bricks to the ultimate, future that you want. You just have to be really, really intentional about it. So look for those 2-hour time blocks. And then as you start scheduling things within your calendar, you're scheduling things from your list. You're taking into account the calls that you have, the meetings that you have, the playtime, the rest, all of that stuff. Make sure you're scheduling results that you're going to get within that time, not to-do lists. Okay, so what does that look like? Let's say you have a 2-hour time block and you're like, okay, in this 2-hour time block, I'm going to work on writing my book. No, that is a to-do list. Instead, you're going to go into the results mindset, which is going to sound like this. I'm going to complete the research for my book, complete the outline, and complete chapter 1 in 2 hours. Now, some of you are listening to this and you're like, but Macy, how could I ever know that what I will get done in that 2-hour time period? If you went to school and you had an assignment due by midnight and you waited to the last minute, which a lot of people did, you know what it's like where you have to have a result by a certain time period. Now, that doesn't mean that it's your best work. Like if you waited to the last minute to get a paper in by midnight, it's probably not your best work, but you got it done. And that's how I want you to think about your 2-hour time blocks is, okay, I'm getting this done, period. It might be B- work, it might even be C- work, but it's going to get done. Now, the more that you do this, the more you're going to learn about yourself and you're going to learn, okay, what is the perfect amount of, results that I'm setting up for myself that is challenging enough that really increases my focus and increases my urgency, and also not too overwhelming to where I feel defeated and I don't actually want to even take action. So you'll learn that balance for you and for yourself. You'll also learn what tasks are actually very easy for you to do versus what takes you a little bit longer. Like for example, anything sales training related, anything selling related, my brain is like zoo, 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 zoo. I can do it so fast and it's something that I really enjoy. Something that I'm very new at is like YouTube. And so setting up this camera, setting up the light and getting my outline just right, it's taking me a little bit longer than I anticipated. And so I'm just going to take that into account as I continue to plan for my YouTube time. Something you can also do is kind of combine the plan and delegate quadrant. So I love to do something, good enough, 80%, and then I will delegate it to someone else to make it 100%. So for example, maybe I'll do a slide that looks like this, and I will pass it to my amazing team member who will make it look like this. This helps me make sure that I'm staying focused on the needle moving activities. Like, it's not needle moving for me to play on Canva and make it beautiful. It's needle moving for me to actually imagine the content and make sure that the content is perfect. Okay, so what are you doing with this process? All you're doing is you're being the parent, you're using that prefrontal cortex to pre-decide everything in your week. And now you can use all of that precious, amazing energy focused on executing the plan rather than kind of renegotiating what the plan should be. So what's really cool about this is, I'm going to do an example that's all work-related calendaring, but you can do this with anything: workouts, kids, food, organizing your home. Like, let's say you really want to have more experiences with your kids. All you have to do is put it on your calendar, pre-plan for it, and then just execute it. It's really an amazing system to create truly any result in your life that you'd like to have. The third, final, and by far the most challenging step of the system is to obey your calendar. Here is what will happen. You're going to do the system and you're going to feel so excited. You're going to look at your calendar and think, oh my gosh, I am about to take over the world. Nobody can stop me. And then you're going to sit down at your computer and start your 2-hour block. And it's going to be things that you've been avoiding and that you don't want to do. And that primitive brain is going to kick in. And it's going to give a little bit of a temper tantrum. And it's going to try to kind of negotiate with you and tell you things like, hey, don't you want to go get a coffee real quick? Let's go get a coffee. You know what? I think you're a little hungry. Let's go get a snack. Oh, you forgot to look at that thing on Instagram. Let's just scroll for just a second and just kind of warm up for the day. Oh, you know what? I meant to buy that shirt and I haven't yet. So it won't take me any time at all. I'll just go to revolve.com, find the shirt, and I'll just buy it, and then I'll get back to work. I'm telling you, every trick in the book will be pulled out, and it is your job. Your one and only job is for that prefrontal cortex brain to come back up, that parent brain, and just have a moment. Just be like, you know what? Like, I hear you, and I choose to stay committed to the calendar. Like I said, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and it's really interesting. Whenever they want to do something that they can't do, I really actually enjoy watching them kind of work it out, because it gives me a peek into what is actually happening in our brains. In fact, it was just the other day we walked in and they wanted to watch TV. It was not time to watch TV, and they started to absolutely lose it, just rolling on the ground, crying, typical toddler episodes. And I think what most parents do is they start to try to distract the child. Hey, let's go get a snack. Here's a different game that you can play. Here's something else that we could do. Distract, distract, distract. And it's, of course, with well-meaning to keep the child like happy and in positive spirits. But what I found is that when you let the toddler just kind of experience the tantrum all the way through and just let them have a moment, they eventually settle in a more productive task. And that's really what's happening for you when you're sitting at your computer and you're kind of frustrated, you're irritated, you don't really want to do this. Oh, this is annoying. Just know, and I want you to have that visual. It's like, okay, this is just like a little mini tantrum that's going to pass all the way through. And just know, you don't need coffee, you don't need a drink, you don't need a snack, you don't need to go get that Revolve shirt. Stay locked in. Do whatever you have to do. Take your phone and throw it out the window. Tell everyone you know that, like, hey, I'm on airplane mode for the next 2 hours. I'll see you at noon. and just be absolutely obsessed and committed for getting the results within that 2-hour block. And I love a 2-hour block because it really increases the urgency and kind of creates this false urgency of when this deadline is needs to be done. They say that your work expands the amount of time that you give it. And so really just giving it that 2 hours and watching your work genuinely like expand to those 2 hours is a really cool experience. You also get to prove to yourself that you absolutely do what you say you're going to do. Now, another thing that will happen is during the week, people are going to ask things of you. They're going to ask for meetings. They're going to ask for a quick call. They're going to ask if you can just do this one thing really quick. And I'm not even kidding you when I simply say no. I'm like, I can't do it this week, but I can do it next week. Typically, unless there is blood, a hospital, vomit, like the kids' schools call it, like unless it is a genuine emergency, I really don't deviate from the calendar. And it's really not even as much as like, my work needs to be done. It's just the principle of I do what I say I'm going to do. I've made a commitment to myself and I keep the promises that I make to myself. And every time that you commit and obey the calendar, you are putting a deposit into that identity for yourself of I'm the person that literally like does the thing that I've been avoiding. I'm the person that proves to myself that I can do what I say I'm going to do. And so you just always want to put a deposit in that identity as much as you can. And the calendar is a great way to do that. And I'll tell you, it's really cool how this overflows into things like even your eating, right? Like if you plan to eat something and then all of a sudden you start to think, well, I could probably have a little bit of candy or a little bit of cake. It's not really a big deal. You'll find that when you obey your calendar so well, you'll start to obey yourself in a lot of other areas, especially like your eating or even your workout plans as well. When you feel that toddler brain kicking in, and you feel yourself kind of having this temper tantrum, I actually want you to talk to yourself like a loving parent. And I know that sounds crazy, but I learned this from Martha Beck, and it actually is incredibly powerful and very helpful. Just imagine your brain is like, this is so hard. We could do something, more fun, more enjoyable. Let's do something else. And have this other voice. It's like the devil and the angel on your shoulders. Have this other parental voice that's like, hey, baby, like, I know this is so challenging for you right now, and I'm so proud of you for even, going for this. But of course it's challenging, right? You're trying new things. So let's just take a step back and think, okay, if we had to know what the next step would be, what would that next step be? Do you see how like loving and nurturing that sounds? And, I think it's really interesting how we've grown up in a culture, especially going to school, where we'd be working on something and then, we hit a roadblock and our initial gut reaction is to stop working and to raise our hands to ask for the teacher's help. And what I want you to do is have that visual and think, you know what, I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to go research for other answers or go ask a coach or go ask someone to help me. I'm actually going to sit here and fight through that stickiness, fight through that frustration, and break through that wall. And what you'll find is that you are going to be able to find a lot of answers on your own. But really talking to yourself in that loving way is going to help you be more likely to break through that frustration and experience so many light bulb exciting moments as you do your work. All right, let's get into the demo. So I'm going to do my brain dump right here. I have some brainstorm sheets that I did earlier this week that I have on the floor right here. I'll do what's in my brain first, and then I'll go to the sheets, to Asana, Slack, all of that good stuff. But first, let's set my timer for 10 minutes. Okay. So let me look at this. Oh yeah. See, already. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna circle things that need to be either delegated, discussed, or decided. Delegated, discussed, or decided, versus the things that require the deep work from me. Okay. Cool. So basically, this is everything that's in my brain right now. When I have the red out here, this is just making sure that I'm listing out the tasks or the steps that are needed in order to get these done. So for a YouTube video, I need to outline it, practice it, film it, and turn it in, all of which just needs to be taken into account when I'm putting it on my calendar. And so same with this and same with this as well. So now I'm gonna head to my calendar and get as much as I possibly can inputted. All right, now it's time to schedule it all out. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna keep this just really work focused, and I'm gonna do it from when I wake up until when I pick up my kids. Typically after I pick up my kids, I will try to actually schedule activities, like whether they have tennis or swim practice. This week, Tuesday, the 4th, is supposed to be a beautiful day. So my husband and I have already planned to take them golfing after school. This is where I'll kind of pick up the house and do dinner and all those typical things. So sometimes typically I do like to calendar those, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going to do all work related things from when I wake up until I pick them up. Now, you'll notice that my day starts at 4 a.m. And, that just like really works for the season that we're in. My kids don't really have homework. We don't have late practices. And so I just like to think about my life is just shifted up about 2 hours earlier than what's quote unquote normal for the rest of the world. I love to have my me time, and I describe me time as alone time where no one really needs me. And I could either do that after the kids go to bed, or I could do it when they wake up. And I know for me, if I'm gonna wait for them to be in bed, I'm gonna make some naughty decisions and start snacking and scrolling unnecessarily. So I just use my me time in the morning to do all of my things that fill me up. So 4 a.m. is my wake up call, and then I go to bed. My kids go to bed at 7, and so I try to get in bed between, 8:30, and definitely asleep by, honestly, let's be real, I'm asleep by 8:30 for the most part. So let's get started. I already have all of my non-negotiables in my calendar. They just stay. So from 4 to 6 a.m. is when I do my workout, my reading, my quiet time, and my journaling. From 6 to 7, this is when I get ready and I prep the boys for school. And then from 7 to 8:15 is when I do my morning time with the boys. We do breakfast and, get ready and all that stuff. And then I drop them off at school. 3 p.m., I'm gonna go ahead and schedule that. 3 p.m. on Tuesday, we are gonna go golfing. So I will probably pick them up and go straight to the golf course and meet my husband there. So I want to make sure that I pack golfing clothes and clubs before I leave. Okay. This is the appointment. I have right here, cancel dentist appointment and make new appointment. So I have a meeting at 9 a.m. So I can probably call super quick. like right after that meeting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to do like 9:50 a.m. to cancel dentist appointment because it needs to happen that morning. I want to try a different dentist, which is why I'm doing that. Okay. So once I get it on my calendar, I actually just crossed out the list. Okay. So one thing that I am trying to manage with our current meeting schedule, so I have this strategy meeting and then I have this day of meetings right here. I love to have one day of meetings. I find that a meeting just kind of can throw off the day personally for me. And so if I'm going to meet, I like to make the most out of it and do all of my like in-person type of work. Okay. So I'm actually going to start with this strategy meeting, and I've already started making a list of all the things I want to talk about, but a lot of it has to do with these circled things. So renewal tracking is not on here. Renewal tracking, and then I have let's see, Sales Mastery Bootcamp final offer is on that list right here. Sales Mastery Bootcamp page right here. Testimonials right here. Sales emails are aligned. That's not on there, so right here. So let's do emails and texts. I'd love to have the Sell Your Offer Challenge emails debrief, and then a Sales Mastery Bootcamp debrief. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Funnel run through is on here. Yep. So this is the lead workshop, which is down here. And then funnels, mark, AI classes, respond to someone, Tony meeting is already done, iterations, just make sure that's on here. No, it's not. So Sell Your Offer Challenge iterations. Communicated. So something about meetings, I don't love a meeting, but doing this and preparing for them helps me kind of get re-excited about them and re-reminded, hey, the point of these meetings is to delegate, is to be in that delegation quadrant so that I can be in the plan quadrant. So it re-excites me for the idea of a meeting. I'm going to put book a call funnel right here. And then, oh yeah, we need to get our sales meeting scheduled. Okay. Cool. Okay, so all the blues, for the most part, are checked off because they are in my calendar to communicate something in some way to someone about all of these things. The only thing I want to make sure that I talk about with Kat, so we'll probably eat as a team, and then I want to discuss that. I want to discuss Okay. So right here, I'm going to make new dentist appointment. I like to do these miscellaneous things at the end of the day because my brain is absolutely shot. Make new dentist appointment, and then I wanted to book school tours for my little boy who's growing up. Okay. Okay. Cool. So that's looking good. I missed this right here. So I'm going to go back up here and put school sales. Cool. All right. So that was a lot of stuff just checked off right there. So now I want to go into this day right here. So as you can see, I have a lot of meetings. Oh, I can drop, make sure I send meeting links for Tuesday. And then I also can look at Voxers. Cool. Oh, for boys' Valentines, I need to cool. Okay, so here is a beautiful 2-hour block right here from about 8:15 to 10 that I am going to do some amazing work. What can I do? What can I do? I can do a lot of things. So I will go ahead and outline the dress to sell video as well as the winning strategy video. So I'll put a check and a check representing one of those things. And then I will also go ahead and make a list for Stacy. My husband and I are going to Vegas. So I want to make the list for Stacy, and then I'm going to say really make directions for Stacy, and then also make packing list for Mimi's. She's going to do a little bit, and then my mother-in-law is going to do a little bit. So they will work together, and I just want to make sure they have everything that they need. And I want to do it early enough in the week that I can send it to her so that she feels really confident. One of the things also is my alterations that I would love to get done. So what if I do my alterations on, I'll bring the kids with me because it's just so close to my house and it'll be easy to do right after school. And so I'll make sure I bring alteration clothes, pearl jacket, brown skirt, cream skirt. Cool. So let's see. So I have my outline, then I have the media meeting, team meeting, these meetings, 1 to 2. I'm gonna need a walk after that for sure, all those meetings. So I'll do a walk because I have to be in golf clothes anyway, so that works out perfect. Perfect. Okay. So this is not going to be there anymore. I don't want to take it off until after I cancel my appointment. So I'm going to leave it on there for right now. And I'm going to actually go ahead and, oh, I love free day. I get so excited. I'm going to take the 8:15 to 10:15 slot and do some inner circle content right here. We have an in-person meeting. And I'm going to do it the context content and the impossible goal content. That'll be huge. Huge, huge, huge. And then I will probably take a little walk right here. Oops. 10:15 to 11 maybe. Take a walk. And then I will come back and let's take this next 2 hours right here from 11 to 1 and do practice, dress to sell, and winning strategy YouTube video. So I will this. So I did this and this, yeah. Still have the 4W content. Okay, cool. And then, let's see. What I probably should do is come home. And, well, you know what? From 1 to 2. Well, let's do this. Let's do 11 to like 11:15. Okay, 11:20. I really don't like to take a lot of time to eat. I'll eat here. And then from 11:30, yeah, to 1:30, I'll do that. And then what I'll actually probably do is from 1:30 to 3, I'll come home and I'll pack for Vegas. I just want to make sure I don't need anything. And I'll do my nails on Friday. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so now on Thursday, I'll plan on filming. How about that? I will film winning strategy and dress to sell. This week is low on calls. So I do my coaching calls every other week. So this is a week where I don't have them. And that is amazing to have all this extra time. I don't do these calls, someone else does these. Okay, so there we go. And then I will spend that next 10:15 to 10:30 turning in videos. Let's go. Those are done. As good as done, I should say. Okay, so I need to do some ads, 5 new ads. So let's spend the rest of this next 2-hour block from 11 to 1 writing, filming, I'm gonna say write, film, and turn in 3 ads. That might take me 2 hours. We'll see. We'll see. So here I'm doing 3 out of 5. And then, oh, I need to film that sales shoot page video. Okay, let's see. I'll see if we can do this here, me and Kat. We're about to go play golf now. So I'll tell Kat that we're doing that on Monday, tomorrow. Perfect. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to make this 11 to 12. I will eat something from 10:30 to 11. Okay, and then from 12 to 2, I will do some 4W content for the inner circle. So that's done. And then from 2 to 3, I'll go on a walk. The walks really reset me. So they're very, very important. Okay. So a couple more things. So on Friday, I like to get my nails done. 1:30. I like to try to hit the reset button a little bit. I have a girls' night that night, as you can see. So I'm actually going to kind of move some stuff down. I'm going to put my get ready down. And I will wake up a little bit later. Okay, so I'll get ready. And then I will, right here, 9:15, I have my sister-in-law coming in. So I will prepare for KK, organize, and then let's see. And then I'll do like the Valentine's stuff. Cool. So then what I'll do is, since I have to get ready, I will outline, film, and turn in 2 more ads right here. And then I might finish, actually let's do this. Close Vegas packing loops. I might want to just make sure I leave a little bit of room for errands. So from 11 to 1 right here, I'm gonna leave this for, to 1:30, I'm gonna leave this open for errands, close loops, respond to So I like to leave a little bit of a catch-all block where, I don't know, if something didn't get done, or, which it typically does, but if something didn't get done, or someone ended up needing something from me, or I don't know, who knows what could come up. I like to just leave a little bit of a open space to be able to have room for it. Now, based on a few... For the most part, I'm getting a lot done. So the things that need to come back to is this video and the Sales Girl standard content and this photo organization process content, and then the bootcamp slides, which is totally fine. The alterations got done. I need to make this couch decision, but I'm waiting on fabrics to come in before I can do that. And I need to record the audiobook. So all of these things can absolutely go on the next week's calendar. But if I can get all this done this week, that will be a job well done. My last and final comment for you is, depending on your season, your calendar is going to ebb and flow. Different things are going to take different priorities. Maybe you're in a season of weight loss, or maybe you've just had a baby and your calendar is going to look a lot different than something like this. Right now, I am, pedal to the metal on scaling this business, and really like to keep my priorities, my family, my mental self, developing myself, my relationship with God, and the business. And my calendar absolutely reflects that. And I'm really excited for you to implement the system. If you have any questions about the system, please drop it in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.